Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Freelancers Tea Break, the short and sweet podcast you can enjoy whilst making a cuppa. My name is Emma Cossey. I'm a coach and mentor for freelancers and small business owners, and I just launched a book called The Freelance Lifestyle. Last week, I shared a snippet from the introduction of the book, and this week I'm going a little bit further near the back of the book to share a snippet all about future-proofing your business. So here we go. One of the joys about working as a freelancer is that you can be agile and adapt to the world around you, often faster than those in traditional employed roles. That said, we must also spend more time thinking about the future in our business and our lives. It can be easy to get into the habit of just focusing on the next project or the next client or the next quarter, but we really need to be thinking ahead, both for how we can constantly learn and adapt, and also things like retirement and providing for your future. We must also expect the unexpected, both within our own lives and externally in the wider world. So let's start by looking at some of the things that can happen in our own lives that could affect things. So lifestyle changes could be things like moving house, pregnancy, and this can range from a relatively straightforward pregnancy to complications, strong symptoms, and sadly loss too. And that's whether you are the person who is pregnant or your partner. Becoming a parent can have a big impact. Illness or injuries and illness or injuries of others around you. Caring for others. So it could be whether you have children, aging parents, and other friends and family that you care for. Death and grief, sadly a part that everybody has to deal with. Short-term challenges like building work perhaps, or Wi-Fi going down, laptops, or your heating breaking. All of these are not the most fun topic, but I really would encourage you to create a worst-case scenario document for these situations and any others that you can think of and what you'll need to do in them. It's also worth discussing it with a partner, close friends, or family member so that they're aware as well. For example, what would happen if you suddenly fell ill? If you think about it, who would need to be contacted? How would they be contacted if you couldn't do it? So who would know who to contact? What process would need to be put in place? Can you have a trusted person who can update your out of office or your social media? Do you need to create some email templates for emergencies? And do you have something built into your contract so that if you're unable to fulfill a contract, what would happen? So refund processes, things like that. Would someone be able to monitor your payments coming in or out? Do you have enough money saved in case you need to take a few weeks off due to illness or anything like that? Do you have SOPs, which are standard operating process documents that others can access? Do you have others that you can call on, whether it's friends or family or other freelancers that you could pass work on to? What passive income do you have coming in that could create a buffer during this time if you needed it? With other areas, you may have to design a more long-term plan. So, for example, if you're stepping into the role of parenthood or caring for someone, you may need to reduce your working hours or switch your focus to things like consultancy and power hours rather than done-for-you work. Whilst all of this might feel unnecessary and a bit doom and gloom, having a plan will be helpful if that moment arrives. Others can implement measures to safeguard your business if you're unavailable. And if emotions are high, which they often are in these situations naturally, practical steps can take you through that process and help your support team so there's no panicking in the moment. So that's the excerpt from the book. I would also say I do have something called the Break Glass in Case of Emergencies, which is a free kit that I've put together that has templates and checklists that you can have a look through. It's not a particularly lovely topic to talk about, but I do think it's important. And unfortunately, I have seen freelancers in my community who have been through these processes, and all of the admin and everything like that just adds to the list. So if you can do something now while you're in a good situation that could help you in that bad situation, or that difficult, challenging situation, it could be really helpful. So in the show notes, I'll put a link to the book because I've talked in the book a lot more about all these different areas. Also in the book, I have talked about external factors as well. So in the book, I've talked about some external factors like AI, legislation changes, things like that. So there's lots of different areas to look at, but I would also highly recommend having a look at the break glass in case of emergency kit. It's just online and it has a whole series of templates in there. So hopefully that will be useful. So that kind of gives you an idea. At the start, I talk in the book about what freelancing is and all of the processes in the middle, everything from what funds are available for freelancers, how to deal with your finances, how to deal with your accounts, how to find clients, contracts, dealing with clients, things like that. There's so much in there. But I also talk about the very basic future proofing and what we need to be thinking about. And even whether you want your business to be something that you sell on in the future, and then that can provide for your retirement, or whether you look at building some kind of agency where you've got people working for you, but you don't have to do all the work. There's lots of things that you can be thinking about there. So it's something I would encourage you to have a few moments to have a think about. I hope you enjoyed that episode. Do rate and share and all of those magical things that you can do on podcasts. And I will see you in the next episode.